Welcome to episode 1 of Watcher of All Things, my podcast where I review movies, TV shows, I don't know, maybe even YouTube videos or YouTube series, but my name's Kiki. I'm excited to start this. I've been thinking about it for a long time. Do I want to start a podcast? Ugh, but there's so many in the world. You know, it's that classic thing of, I want to do something, but other people are doing it. Why would I do it? So, anyways, this is me just jumping in the deep end, whatever. You'll notice the poor quality this week. I bought a microphone, and it was just absolute garbage. It was cutting out every 2 seconds, every weird loud syllable, it would just cut out. But anyways, as I said, my name's Kiki, and I guess it's episode 1, so I should probably give, I don't know, a little introduction. You don't want to just listen to a stranger who you don't even know their name talk about movies. Why should we care what he thinks? Anyways, I am 23 years old, love movies, I love TV. Mostly what I'm doing, if I'm not at work or doing school stuff, I'm watching things or playing things. That's just how I am and have always been. So what can I tell you about me? I studied history and English in university. I took many film classes with my English degree. I was a history major, English minor, and I'm just now completing my master's in history. And yeah, I'm starting this podcast. Why? I don't know, because I love talking about movies, and I think my family can only handle me talking about movies for so much longer. So why not start this? I don't know, this is a podcast, but I kind of see it for me as an audio journal, I guess. I don't know, I like writing things, but I don't want to write what I think about all this stuff down. I kind of like just speaking and putting it out into the void. So I figured I'll sit down, record episode 1 today. I'm sitting here with my dog, Gracie, and why not? Let's get it started. So on Tuesday, January 23rd, the Oscar nominations come out. So I figured, why not start the episode 1 with a 2023 in review. I have my Letterboxd 2023 list in front of me. You can follow me on Letterboxd at KikiJ70. So that's KIKIJ70 on Letterboxd. I review so much stuff. It's almost annoying. I feel bad for my friends that only use it kind of, once in a while, but you can follow me on there. I make lists, stuff like that. I always write a review for every movie I watch. I never watch something and don't write a review. A little addicted to it, but what's going on right now? I don't know. This week was, what was it? The Critics' Choice Awards. Like I said, next week is, the Oscar nominations, where it's peak award season right now. It's getting heated. It's who's going to win things, who's getting snubbed. It's big news. It's also January, so there's just no good movies coming out. So why not start with 2023 in review? Because what do they call January? I can't remember. It's like Dreaduary or something, or Deaduary. I can't remember, but Bomuary. Let's start with a bit of news. I don't know. What have we heard in the last couple weeks? The Critics' Choice Awards was the other night, and the Governors, what is it called? The Governor Awards. I think after watching the Golden Globes with Joe Coy, man, watching John Mulaney host was just so refreshing, because he is making jokes about the movies, but he is, aware that people actually worked hard on this, and he's not just making simple jokes, like Joe Coy was. That was just embarrassing to watch. That was really hard to watch, but I love John Mulaney. I've always loved his work. I just thought, man, why is he not hosting just every award show? I mean, he could. I think Billy Crystal, didn't he host it 10 times or something ridiculous? Same with Steve Martin. I think he's hosted the Oscars, or I don't know, one award show a bunch of times. You can tell I'm not an expert on this. I watch every Oscar. I watch every Oscar awards every year, every ceremony every year, and even the COVID one, when, oh my God, 2020, that was painful, when it was in the middle of the day and they were in that weird auditorium and the sunlight was coming in. That was random. That was that was something. What else was in there? Okay, I want to talk about the fact that they're going to do Top Gun 3. I was shocked by that. I feel like, along with other people, was that ever really spoken about? I feel like they must have asked the stars. Somebody in an interview must have asked Miles Teller or Tom Cruise or Glenn Powell, if they make another one of these, Would you join, or do you want to make another one of these? I mean, I kind of get both sides. I am both for it, and I'm also a little bit against it. I think the for it side of me is almost like I get the producer's point of view. You know, the movie did so well. It made so much money. It was just, I feel like everybody loved it. It was a movie that my parents went and saw it, and they don't really go to the movies that often. I saw it 3 times in theaters. Absolutely loved it. I remember the first night seeing it in IMAX. I mean, it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. It was so much fun to watch. It was so goofy in parts, like the first Top Gun is. It's goofy as hell, but so much fun. So I get it. I get it. It's just kind of disappointing because, you know, the side of me that doesn't want it made, I just think Top Gun Maverick was such a perfect send off for the character, for the franchise kind of. I mean, is this going to be Tom Cruise's new Mission Impossible where he uses this franchise to, you know, do crazy stuff with, but like he just signed a deal with Warner Brothers that he's going to start producing and starring in films of his creation. So, I mean, it's very conflicting. I think we should talk a bit about the awards this week. It was the Emmys on Monday. I think it was Monday night. The Bear and Succession, 2 shows I absolutely adore. I love both of those shows, and I'm fine with them sweeping, but like, holy moly, you have Jeremy Allen White, Io Adebri, and Eben Moss-Bachrach. Bareback? I can't remember how to say his last name. Then Kieran Culkin, that's a huge win. I mean, especially over, you know, Jeremy Strong. I mean, he couldn't even be there. Apparently he forgot, but he's also doing a play in New York or London. Yeah, but I mean, just the Succession and the Succession and The Bear just sweeping their categories. Sarah Snook, absolutely love her. So happy for her, and I really liked Maddie Matheson getting up, and as a fellow Canadian, I loved seeing Maddie Matheson going up and accepting the award for, I think it was Best Comedy Show. I think it was Best Comedy Television Show. But quick shout out to Better Call Saul. Poor Bob Odenkirk. Oh my God. I loved the last season of Better Call Saul with the flashbacks and, you know, him in the present and black and white. I can't believe they have like the record for most, I think, Emmy losses or something like that. I don't know if it's a record, but I think they have like 63, something crazy like that. But I mean, oh, what a quality show. It just wins nothing every year because it's always just being put behind others, and I get it. I mean, I think we are in the golden age of television, but like that's gotta sting. I feel for all the creators, you know, Vince Gilligan, and yeah, that's gotta be painful every year going back thinking, oh, is tonight gonna be the night? And it doesn't happen again. And especially Bob Odenkirk, I think he was nominated every year that a season came out, you know, and he lost every single time. That's tough. That's tough. Yeah, and we'll see on Tuesday. Maybe next episode I'll talk about the Oscar nominations. I have high hopes. I know I think it was the Critics' Choice Awards and the BAFTAs, some people were, you know, I mean, there's snubs there's snubs every year. There is snubs. There's people you think should be nominated. I'm pretty sure at the BAFTAs, Lily Gladstone wasn't nominated for Killers of Flower Moon, which I find insane. I thought she was immense in that movie, and if she doesn't I mean, between her and Emma Stone for Poor Things, I think it's the two of them. They're racking up all the awards this year. I mean, I love them, but we'll get into that. But I loved them both this year. So maybe next episode we'll go over the Oscar nominations. It's only a couple weeks away. I'm not sure when the BAFTAs are, but yeah, I mean, this is the crazy season. There's no movies coming out, but it's award seasons. Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting for Zone of Interest to come out. I feel like that's the movie that I haven't been able to see because it was doing festivals, and then in Canada it had a very limited release. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. But we should get into my 2023 movies, and I think it's a fun thing. For the first episode, you can see, you know, you can kind of see my taste, and I love hearing, you know, movies that different people loved or hated in a year, because, you know, even some of my best friends will go see a movie together. I'll love a movie, they'll hate it, or vice versa, and it's just so funny how you're watching the same thing, and, you know, you can be best friends and have such similar tastes in life, and then you watch a movie together and you have complete opposite views. 2023, I watched, I think it's 42 or 43 movies, 42 movies from 2023. I think I saw like 24 of them in the theater. I go to the movies a lot. Sometimes especially in summer, I will see 3 in a day if I just have nothing going on that day, if I'm not working. I think I will do this. I'm going to do my bottom 5, my top 5, and some honorable mentions in the top 5. What a year. Just some crazy releases. The amount of talent that was on display in 2023 was wild. Was wild. And there's going to be so many snubs because there's just so much good stuff coming out. It's honestly hard to keep up. I know people say this all the time, but there's so much, they call it content. I don't know how I feel about that word with film and television. Let's get into it. The bottom 3. And so starting in number 42, I do want to preface this by saying I'm not some, Marty Scorsese. I think Marvel movies are bad. I think comic book movies are ruining the industry. I love comic book movies. Wow, I sounded a bit like Tim Heidecker. I love Batman. I love that audio drop when they do that. Yeah, I love comic book movies. Obviously, Marvel, I think since Endgame, has really struggled to, get a hold of something that's going to keep people going. I think they should have taken a 5-year break after Endgame, but I'm not running the show, so what can you do? Marvel's had a tough time, but that happens. It's when they have so much stuff coming out, they're not just going to hit home runs. I remember in phase 1, not all of their movies were massive. Thor, I feel like, wasn't a, massive success. The movies were popular, but they weren't all A+ and getting critical reception. So with that said, in 42nd place in the year, Ant-Man Quantumania. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, sorry. I actually didn't see this in theaters. I waited till Disney Plus, which I can't remember the last time I did that for a Marvel movie. I'm usually huge on these. I go and see them all. I don't care. I'll watch it. I'm gonna watch Echo on Disney Plus. I'm weirdly attached to these, and I love comic book movies. I love superhero stuff. I have a massive Batman tattoo. But Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, just what a weird movie. Because there's parts where it's so funny, and you do feel like there's some chemistry, but then there's just some terrible acting. The visual effects, terrifying. It looks like everything's shot in, I don't know, a broom closet or a bathroom. And I'm not a huge fan of the overuse of the volume where actors can just act in front of that big digital screen. I think Marvel and Star Wars, I guess Disney are just using it as a crutch now because they don't want to use any real locations. And boy, oh boy, did it show in this third Ant-Man movie. I was really not a fan. And I think Peyton Reed did well with the first one, all things considered. Who was dying to see an Ant-Man movie other than Edgar Wright when he was making his own? But yeah, a little disappointing. I watched it at home and I thought, okay, yep, that was certainly a thing. And I just felt so neutral throughout the whole thing. I wasn't like, oh, that was awesome, or oh, I really hated that. It was just like, okay, this is just a movie. And it's, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I feel like Martin Scorsese or Marty, I just that was an amusement ride, but one for, I don't know, people that don't like amusement rides. It just felt like it was like, we're just kind of going through the motions. It was just a slog. It was tough to get through. It was what, 2 hours? 2 hours and 5 minutes, I think. But I have to say, I do think it was my least favorite movie of the year. And we had some bad comic book movies. The Flash. I'm looking at you. Anyways, that's in last place. Second last, in 41st place, is actually an animated, and it is a comic book story. It's a superhero movie. It was actually Batman, the Doom that came to Gotham, which I watched on streaming. I watched it on Amazon, I believe, and came out this year. And it's Batman, but it's in another time period. I think it's at the turn of the century 1900s, and it's an old kind of gothic vibes. And it was, I think what I liked was the idea of it. And I love stories where they take Batman and take him to another time, and it's oh, what if he existed here? That was cool. But all of the voiceover acting, it felt like they were all just speaking in one tone the whole time. There's nothing gripping. It wasn't a particularly interesting animation style. I actually wasn't a big fan of it. And I don't hate animated movies. I know some people that say, oh, I can't watch animated movies. I I don't know, I'm fine with them, but yeah, just it didn't grab me in any certain way. So disappointing because I love a lot of Batman stuff. It was fun to watch, but I was pretty disappointed with, wow, they had this great concept of what if we take Batman, put him in another time, and we're going to do a short movie of it, an animated movie. And there's a lot of good DC animated stuff, but this was one that I think will definitely just be forgotten. Disappointing, but in third last, so in 40th place for the year, this, I don't know. I know people that love this movie. The director, love his work. I've liked some of his stuff. I am talking about Wes Anderson, and it was Asteroid City. I don't know what it is. Maybe TikTok ruined me, where there was all those AI TikTok videos of people making Wes Anderson style stuff, and something just put me off of it. Now there's kind of an uncanny valley factor, and I just can't I can't watch Wes Anderson anymore. I don't know. I loved Grand Budapest Hotel. I loved Fantastic Mr. Fox. But Asteroid City itself, not just I appreciate how it looks, but just the style and delivery of characters, it feels like there's no one actually in the movie. It's just Wes Anderson acting inside of the body of others. And everything is so meticulously directed and thought out, and you need to say it this exact way, and nobody's able. It just didn't feel like any of the performers were able to kind of bring themselves into the film, which, I don't know, it was a letdown for me because I was excited. I really liked the cast. I like Jason Schwartzman. Actually, I thought he was so good in the new Hunger Games movie this year. I thought he was hilarious. I like Scarlett Johansson. I love Tom Hanks, Jeffrey Wright, Tilda Swinton, Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton, Adrian Brody, Liev Schreiber, Hope Davis, who, I mean, she's in. Okay, this is weird. Hope Davis in Succession as well. She's one of the minority owners or whatever of Waystar Royco, but also she's in Home Alone. I think she's the airline attendant when they're in Paris. I can't remember where, but I think she's an airline attendant. Yeah, she's an airline attendant, or desk operator of one of the airlines. That was random. My girlfriend and I were watching Home Alone. I was like, oh my god, I know her. But anyways, Asteroid City. It's so gorgeously shot, and every picture, every frame looks like a picture, is what I'm trying to get at. And it's gorgeous. It's like a painting every time you're looking at it. But it's just, I think I'm just tired of the Wes Anderson AI videos. And then I watch that movie and I'm like, oh boy, like this feels like I'm watching an AI video, because it felt like he was being so Wes Anderson. He was being so himself, which, I mean, some directors, they have their one movie where they fully lean into their style and they just go so hardcore. I feel like that was Christopher Nolan with Tenet. I feel like that was his Asteroid City. I love Tenet. I loved Tenet because I don't know why. And I guess that just shows how those type of movies are either hit or miss for people, where a director's just going all out. I want to do my style to the utmost and just enjoy myself. Yeah, I watched it and I wasn't captivated. I was kind of let down. It was an interesting story, and I'll give it credit. I loved the scene where the alien comes down and gets the whatever it is, the orb or the rock or whatever. And it also is shown that it's Jeff Goldblum. He played the alien. I thought that was hilarious. But I don't know. I just feel like I haven't felt anything with Wes Anderson movies since Grand Budapest Hotel. Because French Dispatch, interesting, go through a newspaper stories throughout the day and show them as like chapters in a film, but I wasn't a big fan of that one either. I thought it was okay. I liked it better than Asteroid City. I thought it was enjoyable, but Asteroid City, to me, I hate using the word boring. What it was, I just wasn't really I wasn't entertained, and I get people that would be all over this for a certain reason because they love the particularity. Is that a word? Particularity? I was an English minor. I should know this. How particular all the direction is. How particular all the performances are. He's everything's so calculated and measured, and it kind of bugged me in the whole movie. I didn't feel like anyone was shining through. It felt like everyone was being so monotone and just saying everything let's act like it's a Wes Anderson movie. It felt more like these were all fans in a Wes Anderson movie who weren't, who just wanted to, oh, let's make a Wes Anderson style movie. So disappointing. Isn't he doing an espionage movie next? Which that could be interesting if, I don't know, maybe if he tones it down a bit, or, I mean, it's Wes Anderson. Is he really going to change at all? Probably not, but I mean, he's a good filmmaker. It's just this one I wasn't a big fan of. He can win me over again. I think their Roald Dahl short stories on Netflix. I think he did that that was 2023 that he did that. I should check those out because apparently they're very good. And, they're short stories. They're, you don't have to focus for too long. I have no problem watching long things. It's fun just having a serious filmmaker like him doing really cool short stories for Netflix. I think that was a great idea. And, I think that's something he could thrive in, because it's little doses of his style that it's like, oh, that was really nice. But at the same time, I mean, TikToks, those AI Wes Anderson, or people trying to make TikToks like Wes Anderson. I mean, I'd love to see people do like Christopher Nolan styled TikToks. That, I don't even know what that would look like. Third last 40th place out of 42 was Asteroid City. Disappointing, but I'm never going to regret watching a movie. I watched it and it was fun to at least be part of the dialogue. 39th place, fourth last. I'll preface this one by saying it is literally a children's movie. And if adults got mad that this wasn't good, it is a kids movie. And it made so much money. I'm talking about the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which is directed by, is it Michael Jelenic and Aaron Horvath? I get why kids would be all over this. It seemed fun, but just watching it, I don't know. It could have been fun like the Lego Movie. I think the Lego Movie is a great example of taking kind of a children's concept of making this a Lego film. Lego in real life is for everyone. I make Lego all the time, and people build Lego all the time. But the Lego movies had the humor and everything about the story is so universal. It kind of sticks with everyone. Whereas the Super Mario Bros. Movie, I don't know. I mean, I'm 23 and I was watching it. I'm like, dude, would kids like this? But clearly they did, because it made so much money. So many people went and saw it. I feel like that was a movie that families could go and see. And sometimes I think that's just good for the industry, is to just have movies that aren't just Marvel movies. Those are the only family options. Because what if a family doesn't, like Marvel movies? You should have, I don't know, there needs to be good variety in cinema. And I don't think Disney's having a lot of hits right now. I think Wish did not do well in theaters. I feel like Disney and Pixar are just having a tough time making, because when I was born in 2000, Pixar and Disney were revolutionary. They were massive. They were the big thing. And now I think animation with Spider-Verse and the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, I think animated movies have really stepped it up and are differentiating themselves. And I don't know if the Mario Brothers movie really, maybe that was a problem. It wasn't unique enough. I mean, it was cool seeing the world. I played, I don't know, Super Mario 64 and Super Smash Bros. On my Nintendo 64 as a kid. Maybe they just didn't, I don't know, maybe they just didn't make it weird, or they didn't make it, I'd love to see a weird Super Mario Brothers movie where the animation's different, but this just felt like the most kind of bog standard, like, okay, we're gonna make a Mario Brothers movie, or we're gonna make it so to formula. And I think come on, they have to do a sequel. It made so much money, and it's a property like this. I mean, it's not Top Gun, where second one made so much and it felt like it wrapped up the storyline so well. But this, I mean, at the end, it was Toad coming out, or Yoshi, yeah, Yoshi coming out of the egg was like a post-credit scene, or was that at the end of the movie? I mean, they have to make a sequel. It made so much money as well, why not? And it's a kid's movie, it's a family movie. You make another one, people will be like, oh, we went and saw the first one, let's go have another fun family day. So yeah, why not? And shout out Peaches. What a song. Great song. Peaches, Peaches, Peaches. There was fun parts. I mean, I thought the Rainbow Road race was fun. I actually enjoyed that part. There wasn't tons I took from it. Again, it's a kid's movie, but there's also, there can be movies that are suitable for children that also adults can take so much. The Lego movie, I thought that movie was so much fun. I don't know why I'm comparing these two, but I feel like a lot of these types of movies should be kind of stacking up to what the Lego movie did, what Spider-Verse did. That was an animated film, and it kind of changed the game animation style. Although the second one, the regulations on the creators, it's there's a lot of that in the industry, I guess, of people being abused a little bit with their work hours and stuff like that. Same thing in the video game industry. I mean, you hear about it all the time, that video game creators and, animators, and they're all just totally overworked. And that is, I think there needs to be some kind of strike, some kind of action against, they need better protection from the big studios, and they just need better protection for themselves. And I think, was there a strike this year for them? But I mean, there was so much attention on the actor and writer strike. I think it kind of put a spotlight on the industry. But at least Super Mario Brothers, when it came out, there wasn't any crazy stories, I don't think, about, they're overworking us. We were doing 24-hour days, and we had every fourth day off or something like that. They get to see their families or go home for 2 hours once a week, something like that. So props to them for not abusing their workers. Moving on, 38th place, 5th last. I mean, none of these were terrible movies. Maybe apart from Ant-Man, I thought wasn't great. I don't know if it was terrible. It was fine. I wouldn't say terrible. I feel like a movie has to be really, really bad for me to be terrible. Anyways, 38th place, Cocaine Bear. And what month did that come out? January or February of 2023? And I feel like it did have a lot of buzz. And for what it was, I think it was successful. But the story of having a bear that does all this cocaine, I feel like, well, first of all, the bear's barely in it. The story and directing was really odd. I love Elizabeth Banks as an actress, but I don't know if I've liked any of her stuff that she's directed. I think she is so funny. And she's such a, warm person. I listened to her on, the Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend podcast, and she's so funny. She's warm. You can tell she just has such a nice presence and personality. But I think when she's directing, there were some really odd choices, and there was weird dialogue in it, and how it was directed and how things are said. And but at the same time, there was a lot of stuff that I liked about it. I mean, I thought Alden Ehrenreich was hilarious in Cocaine Bear. It's so funny seeing him. He was in Hail Caesar, which I love that movie, a Coen Brothers movie. And I really liked Solo. I thought he was a great Han Solo for what he had to did in a movie that they had to, shoot, 80% of? Again, something like that. Just crazy. Yeah, I thought he was funny in it. Kerry Russell. I love Kerry Russell. She's so good in everything. I mean, geez, even Rise of Skywalker, Kerry Russell's in it, and I thought she was even good in that. I don't think she does a lot of bad stuff for me. So, yeah, Cocaine Bear in 5th last, but maybe it was a little too much, and there's just all these storylines going on, going off at the same time. It's a lot to, and it just felt a little underbaked at times. Like, why do we really care about these people? We don't know them that well. I mean, I feel like if you bought a ticket and went and saw it, you kind of got what your money's worth was. It's Cocaine Bear. So those were my bottom 5 movies of the year. Nothing excruciating that while watching I wanted to rip my nails out. Just stuff that I was like, okay, I guess. All right. Or just like, yeah, okay, that was fine. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I'm sure someone loves it. Okay, quick honorable mentions. Before I get into my top 5, and, people might think, oh, how could you not put them in your top 5? Give me a second. And you can go and look at my list. If you look at my Letterboxd, Kiki J70, Kiki J70, you can go to my Letterboxd. You can see my list. There was a lot of movies I liked, and for me, a lot of movies were really close to each other this year. But you can only pick 5. Honorable mentions, Anatomy of a Fall, I thought was so fantastic. You're watching it and you're trying to solve it yourself, and it's so intense. And what's her name? Sandra Huller? Yeah, Sandra Huller, who plays... Yeah, she plays Sandra in the movie. That's really funny that they just kept her name. Anyways, Sandra Huller, I mean, what a performance. I thought she killed it. She was awesome. And I'll say it. I think she was innocent. I'll stand by that. I stand by it. I think the French criminal court system is rigged. Another shout out to Wonka. I don't think it was life-changing, but just funny. A good Christmas movie. Something that the whole family can see. Thought Timothée Chalamet, he's great in it. He's not Gene Wilder, and I think that's the point. He's not supposed to be Gene Wilder. He's doing his own thing. And yeah, just a really fun movie. Another shout out, as an It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fan, I have to say, Blackberry. Glenn Howerton, ridiculous in that movie. Canadian movie, done by CBC partially. Bottoms, hilarious. I think Bottoms was, it's close to my favorite comedy of the year, obviously in the top 5. There's a couple of funny movies, but Bottoms, phenomenal. Past Lives, really loved it. For me, it just felt like something was missing at the end. I don't know why. Usually I cry super easily at movies, and I get any emotional story, I love it. But I don't know, something was missing for me. It felt like the script was, again, just a little short, or just... It didn't... I don't know. There was some missing element. Just great performances. I thought Greta Lee as Nora, phenomenal. Phenomenal. If she doesn't get an Oscar nomination, I will be surprised, because I thought she was fantastic in it. Barbie, it was good. I thought it was really fun. Great humor, great points that it's trying to make, great performances, actually. In a Barbie movie, you get these great performances, but the script felt very underbaked to me. I think it just felt very kind of breezed through. Honestly, I could have gone with another 20 minutes, because by the end, when the Billie Eilish song kicks in and she's meeting the creative Barbie, I didn't feel invested enough yet. It felt something's missing here. I don't really care that much yet. I wanted maybe if they started it with like a couple more days in Barbie Land, where you show that she's kind of just doing the same stuff every day, or, more stuff into the real world. She spends more time there. It just felt a little rushed, little short to me, but I mean, so much fun. I dressed in pink. I went to the theater. It made so much money. It's great that Greta Gerwig got to do this. She got to make this movie, and people loved it. That's what you love to see. It's a win for cinema. And I think especially with, the whole Barbenheimer thing, it showed that people are ready for original stories with, performers they like in them, and they will go to a 3-hour Christopher Nolan movie. They will go to a Greta Gerwig Barbie movie. People will go and see these things, and it's awesome. The biggest movies of the year weren't just Marvel movies. They were original stories, and that's a huge win. I mean, as Scorsese says, this is cinema. That was cinema. It was awesome to see. Mission Impossible and Spider-Verse as well. Didn't make the top 5, but I really love them. I'm a huge, huge Mission Impossible fan. Love those movies so much. Really enjoyed this one, but I do think Fallout was better. This one felt like it was kind of going over old steps and old stories, but it's still really enjoyable. I mean, they haven't had a bad one since the second one, so that's a success. Spider-Verse was good, but I do think I prefer the first. Yeah, okay, I'll stick with it. I think I prefer the first. That first one was just revolutionary. This one felt like, across the Spider-Verse, just felt like there was too many spider people. It's like, okay, I kind of don't care enough about them. But I still thought it was phenomenal. Like, just a great film, and so much fun to watch. And just outside, I feel so bad for not having this in the top 5. Killers of the Flower Moon, I thought was amazing. I thought it was so good. Some phenomenal performances in it. Lily Gladstone, holy crap. She is so good in this. Leo, great as always. Robert De Niro, he still got it. Jesse Plemons coming in like the third act, and I'm Here to See About the Murders. So good. I mean, yeah, I think Lily Gladstone, if she wins that Oscar, it'll be very, very deserved. But here we go. Top 5. 5th place, we have Poor Things. I loved it, and this movie is what, for me, Barbie should have been, which was crazy that we got Poor Things and Barbie in the same year, because it felt like, look, for me, Barbie felt very corporate packaged feminism. I mean, there's a Chevrolet commercial in the middle of it. It's all, bright and gloomy, and kind of the problems that are discussed in it. A lot of it is kind of very shallow, where Poor Things is a lot, it just gets stuck into it. She discovers, bodily autonomy, what it means to be a woman, and she falls in love with life itself. She discovers what it means to live. Then, I think it's such a great twist when you find out about her old life, Bella Baxter, and it's just what a great story. And for me, that was my Barbie for the year. I thought that was my Barbie. Next, fourth place after Poor Things. Fourth place, The Iron Claw, which, to be honest, is a movie that's just grown more and more on me since I saw it. I loved it. It absolutely shattered me as well. I'm a younger brother, and the whole brothers relationship, just what a story. So devastating. And just heartbreaking. I saw it with my girlfriend, and at the end I was fully weeping like I was at a funeral. The tears streaming down my face, snot flying out. Just such a devastating story. And honestly, Zac Efron, bravo, because just what a performance. He is stuck between trying to get out of that life and do something for himself and his family. Kevin Von Erich. I mean, just the Von Erichs, the fact that they had to cut, one brother out because they didn't want audiences to think the tragedy was unbelievable. What a story the Von Erichs went through. It's such a tragedy for their family. And I mean, Jeremy Allen White, he's a great actor. He's so good in everything. I loved him in The Bear. Harris Dickinson, I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff. I saw him in Triangle of Sadness last year. Loved him in that. And I think he is brilliant in this movie as David. I mean, Holt's, what's his name? Holt McCallany? He was in Mindhunter. There we go. Okay. He's so good in it as the dad. And I don't know, that movie just kind of had everything that I like in a movie. It had, brotherhood. I also grew up playing very competitive sports, so I know the pressure of competitive sports, and sometimes it can come from family members. I was lucky enough to never experience that, but I had teammates who, had parents that forced them into stuff and forced them to keep playing, and you can tell the player's not really that invested in it, and they're kind of just living their parents' dream. Yeah, just a devastating movie. I mean, that final scene, I used to be a brother, like Zac Efron says. Oh my God, that, like a knife to the heart. I cried. And third place, a little more cheery, The Holdovers. Holy crap. I mean, what a funny movie with, some devastating parts. There's some really sad stuff. I mean, Mary's child dying in Vietnam as a soldier, but I mean, the ending is very, it's bittersweet. It's a bittersweet ending, but Paul Giamatti, my man, I love Paul Giamatti. I think he is hilarious. He has a podcast that's called Chinwag. It's so funny. You should go. He just talks about aliens and like ghosts and vampires and supernatural stuff. It's so funny. So funny. I love listening to Paul Giamatti's podcast. What a great movie. I watched it on Christmas Day with my parents, and they loved it as well. I think that's a movie that can be a Christmas classic. Same with Wonka. I feel like this could be another Christmas classic that we get this year. So before we get to the final two, let's recap. Fifth place, Poor Things. Fourth place, The Iron Claw. Third place, The Holdovers. In second, this might be a shock. I don't know. I'm a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan. So the third one coming out was a big deal for me, and I'm excited for James Gunn to go to DC. And I thought the movie was phenomenal and the perfect send-off for those characters under James Gunn, and that's why I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in second place, because, like the Iron Claw, I was probably crying the entire movie. Every time there was, my dog's sitting in my lap right now, every time there was the abuse of Rocket and his friends, and you just see what he's gone through, and it just explains so much about his character, of why he is so hard-shelled towards the end and doesn't know love. Broke me. Absolutely ruined me, that movie. But the ending is so happy, and just the perfect, bittersweet. You're sad that, it's too bad, these stories are coming to an end. I'm really going to miss them. But everybody gets a happy ending. Everyone gets what they want, and even Gamora and Star-Lord not ending up together. Just I bet we were fun together. Oh yeah, we were. That was great. It just felt like they both understood that, and it was like past lives in another lifetime, and just phenomenal. I love James Gunn, and I really love what he's doing, and I really hope he brings DC success, because it shouldn't just be, Marvel that's the only one doing well with comic book movies, and hopefully he can he can kind of revitalize the superhero genre, because I don't know if there's I don't think there's superhero fatigue. I think there's superhero lack of quality. Because, I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time is The Batman, the Matt Reeves one that just came out 2 years ago. I thought that was phenomenal, and I think it kind of showed that there isn't superhero fatigue. And same thing with Guardians 3. I think people will still see them, but they have to be good stories. They have to be films. They can't just be, volume garbage. They need to be treated like a masterpiece. You want to don't just throw it out there and make it some AI produced trash. But Guardians 3, I mean, it was awesome. I really loved it. I can't wait to rewatch it. I think I'm going to rewatch it soon, because I just got the Blu-ray for Christmas, and just a really good send-off. And I mean, within the MCU, there's good trilogies. I mean, Iron Man, I like Iron Man 2, I like Iron Man 3, but that's a good trilogy. I think Captain America and Guardians of the Galaxy are maybe... Those are the two best trilogies for me. I love Captain America, the first Avenger, and, Winter Soldier and Civil War I really like. But I have to say, I think Guardians is the best Marvel trilogy. And, I mean, the Spider-Man trilogy is good as well, but I just think Guardians, all three movies are so strong. And what a finale this was for the characters and James Gunn working with Marvel. And, I mean, even the Christmas special is so good. I love the Christmas special. So here we go. Number 1, a glaring omission from my honorable mentions and top 5 so far. You're probably wondering, when's it going to come up? Number 1 is Oppenheimer. I'm a big Christopher Nolan fan. I even loved Tenet, because I love Robert Pattinson and John David Washington. I loved Oppenheimer. I think it may be Christopher Nolan's masterpiece. It's just... I mean, I'm a history major, so it's kind of unfair, but it's a 3-hour historical film about him being interrogated, basically, and it's gripping the whole time. And I mean, that third act, actually the top, second and first place, both Guardians 3 and Oppenheimer, the third act, phenomenal. I mean, just such a happy ending, and Guardians 3 and then Oppenheimer, that ending just haunted me. You realize him and Albert Einstein having that great chat on the front lawn with Strauss watching them, and you just realize like what they've created and what's happened and what's the world leading to. And I get really annoyed when people say, oh, it's just a movie about the bomb. It's not. It's so much more than that. It's about changing humanity forever, and his immediate regret after he took on this project. He creates the bomb, and it really is just it's a tragedy. It's about him. He regretted it as soon as he created it, and I think you see the terror in him the entire time. There's very seldom moments that he's so happy that he's doing this. It feels like he's shocked that he's making these discoveries and his team is making all this progress, but he's still horrified by what's happening. So just great performances. If Cillian Murphy doesn't win the Oscar for Best Actor, same with Robert Downey Jr. If he doesn't win his Oscar, crazy. I think that would be crazy. I don't think anybody was on their playing field this year. Those two knocked it so far out of the park. I mean, what more is there to say? It's a 3-hour movie. I don't mind long movies, but everybody was going to see it with Barbie. Just awesome. So, yeah, that's 2023 in a review. I think there was some major hits this year. It was, there's so many good movies that I didn't even say in honorable mentions, like John Wick 4, that rocked. The Boy and the Heron. I don't know. It's Priscilla, I thought was really good. The Killer, I loved. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that was awesome. As a huge fan as a kid, I thought that was really fun. Even Please Don't Destroy. I watch them on SNL all the time, and I think they're hilarious. And I watch them on, YouTube and stuff. And I thought it was really fun to have a movie from them. I even liked the Indiana Jones movie. I thought it wasn't great, but it was still fun. And I think there's some really good parts. Yeah, but I think Oppenheimer, number 1 for the year for me. And I think it'll be. I think it should be Best Picture for me. I just think it was it really was a masterpiece, and you can tell how much went into it. Same with Barbie. You can tell that crew must have been so much fun to be on that set every day. And you can tell in the movie, everyone is just like really having fun and just doing their best. And same thing with Oppenheimer. It just feels like everyone is doing career best. Yeah, 2023, I think it was a good year. And there's still movies I need to see before the Oscars. I think, I don't know, Maestro, Society of the Snow People just came out, but I think I'm going to do that actually as its own episode. Maybe that'll be next episode. I think that could be really great. And I thought it'd be fun, at the end, after we talk about the subject, why not read some Letterboxd reviews? Because that's one of my many joys in life, is just reading Letterboxd reviews. This one's by Tyler on Oppenheimer. He says, 5 stars, Josh Peck goes nuclear, brackets not clickbait. Yeah, Josh Peck, it's just crazy that he hits the button in that movie. That's so funny. Just the amount of star power in that movie, and it's Josh Peck from, Drake and Josh, who I watched every week as a kid, and he's hitting the button in a Christopher Nolan movie. So funny. Sydney said, 4 stars, Oppenheimer's girl dinner, a metric ton of cigarettes, and a total of 2 clementine slices. Yeah, I mean, geez, pre-CrossFit days, he was lean and mean and a bomb machine. He was really making it happen. And, he's smoking the entire movie, and what does he eat? Like a couple of clementine slices in 3 hours. I mean, come on, Oppie. This one's for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. 1.5 stars. MODOK is literally just a live-action Funko Pop figure. Yeah, he's freaking. You see his butt in the movie? I mean, it's just terrifying. MODOK, just terrifying, that stretched-out face. Another one for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. 2 stars. The Wish version of Star Wars. Yeah, it felt very freaky space vibes, but not really top notch. Kind of a letdown. Here's a kind of a happy one. 4 stars for The Holdovers. Men were remembering the Roman Empire daily in the 1970s. Yeah, it was really funny after the TikTok kind of trend of how often do you think about the Roman Empire, and just hit Paul Giamatti's character literally talking about the Roman Empire every 10 minutes in the movie. It was so funny. Oh man, he's so great in that. He's so funny, and all the press he's doing for it, he is so... I encourage everyone to look up Paul Giamatti talking about Planet of the Apes, and when his agents tell him, don't you want to play a human, and what he says, it's so funny. And anyways, next one, The Iron Claw by Dylan. 4 stars, when your, quote, family curse is just a mere existence of your father. Yeah, that dad was just, he was a burden on them, like making Kenny wrestle. He even makes oh man, that was, brutal. And then another one, 4 stars, The Iron Claw. The feel-bad movie of the year. Yeah, it really was. Other than Oppenheimer, that movie really just makes you feel terrible after. You're like, wow. You know what? A great year. I have huge hopes for 2024. I mean, Dune Part 2, we were robbed. We were robbed last year of Dune Part 2. I'm so excited for it to come out. And I think this is going to be a good year. And I'm excited to, get this venture underway. I'm hoping to have a mic set up for episode 2 where we can talk Oscar nominations, Society of the Snow People, or something else. We'll see what happens. Maybe something will be out. But thank you for listening. You can listen to this podcast on Acast, I have YouTube, Watcher of All Things. You can look me up on YouTube. If you want to send in emails and reviews, you can, email me at gmail at watcherofallthings@gmail.com. Again, you can look me up on Letterboxd, KikiJ70. I'll put all of my social media, everything in the description of this episode. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next one.